Hi, wonderful people. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are a new subscriber, you are highly welcome. And if you are a returning viewer, God bless you. So today we are going to be learning how to make a short trouser. And this pattern is versatile. So these are our materials needed as shown in the video. So let's start with the front pattern. For the front pattern, I'm going to create my workspace. If you have been watching my video, you know I love creating the workspace, at least so you can have an idea of how much, if the fabric or the pattern or the paper is going to be enough. So here I rule the length of the short. Your shorts can be of any length. Some can be on your knee, some can be on your hip area, depending on what you are trying to draft. So also I divided my hip measurement by 4 and I added extra 3 inches. I like having enough workroom for my drafting, my pattern drafting, or when I'm drafting directly on clothes. So that's what I am just trying to create here, this rectangular line. And this is the front pattern. Now the first thing to do is the crotch depth calculation. The first measurement we are going to be drafting is the crotch depth, and the calculation has been shown already. So I will rule my crotch depth and I will make a straight line with it. The next thing for me to draft is the hip measurement, and the hip measurement for this specific person is 7 inches as shown in the video. So I'm going to mark the hip measurement and I'll rule a straight line with it. Then I'll label it also. So afterwards, we now have our hip and crotch measurement. That starting line on the upper area automatically is the waist measurement. So I hope you understand, like the waist, the hip, and the crouch. Now the next thing for us to get is the crouch length. Is the crouch length where that curvy part is in trousers. So to get the crouch length, we are going to divide the hip measurement by 4 inches. This works for every sizes. So the hip measurement divided by 4 inches. Also, at times it's advisable that when you are trying to draft a short, add 1 inch to the actual hip measurement. For example, if the hip measurement is 34 or 33, add 1 inch to make it 34. Like this person, it is 33. I added 1 to make it 34. So for the crouch curve, it is the hip divided by 20 inches. As shown, the formula is put up already. So the result I got is what I input there. Like the hip divided by 20 inches. This works for every sizes. So I hope you understand these procedures. So that is the crouch curve rather, the crouch curve. Now, this next part is really optional. I am actually this pattern is majorly for a short with elastic rubber at the waist area. But if you are actually drafting a short that is not going to be for elastic, that is going to be with zipper or with that measurement, like you and there's some that are even dartless too. Like I showed 3 ways of drafting. Like here now, I made it a dartless. You just calculate the waist divided by 4 and you impute directly. There are some shorts that they don't have that in the front and they have at the back. Vice versa. Some does not have at the back and they have at the front, and some does not even have in both front and the back. So this is for dartless. You just divide the waist measurement divided by 4 and you use your curve ruler. The not so curvy part, use it to rule a straight a line. You join it from the waist to the hip. But if it's going to have a dart, you can use the bust pan, that's the nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2, or use 4 inches straight away. This works well. So I use the bust pan. Then from the waist area, I came down by 5 inches as the dart line. And for the dart intake, I used the dart intake of 1 inch. That's half inch on each side. Then I rule a line with it. So since we took a dart here, you have to return that 1 inch. That is if the trouser is going to have a dart. You have to return that 1 inch, and using the hip curve, we are going to connect it back to the hip. So this is me trying to show a dartless short, a short with a dart, and a short that won't have dart but just elastic rubber. So our pattern is coming to life already. Now the next thing for us to input is our round lap and round knee. But because it is a short, so you don't really need the round lap. I'll just um divide the round knee measurement divided by two. Then on that part, the length is automatically the person's knee measurement. So I'll just input the round knee. Then using my hip curve, I'll connect from the crouch curve. I'll connect it to that new measurement of the round knee. I hope you understand my explanation. If you have any question, please don't forget to write it in the comment section. I'll surely reply your questions. So now the next thing is for us to take the smile line. So this is the formula. Smile line is those little bulge that shows on the waist area in the front of a trouser pattern. Those little bulge. And to eliminate that, the formula is shown already. Please watch it so you can understand. Then on the side of the waist, our waist is not straight. Our waist is a bit higher than the mid center of the waist. On the side, the waist is higher. So I'll come up by half inch. Then from that new line, that is the half inch, I'll connect it to the smile line using my hip curve. It doesn't interrupt the dart line. You can just connect. It doesn't affect anything. So when you do this, the trouser will sit perfectly well on the waist area, both in the center waist, that's on the front side and on the side waist. So our front pattern is ready. Now I'll cut. Please watch through the way I cut. So if you notice, I was cutting with the last line because I wanted a trouser pattern with elastic. Now let's go to the back pattern. We are still going to be in need of the front pattern because we are going to use the front pattern to modify the back pattern. So now I've already my pattern paper. You notice that I left enough space on the upper part, like because we are going to be doing some modification. Then with the aid of my tracing wheel, I will trace out the front line. We're not going to be using all the front pattern lines. We are still going to be doing some modification, but just to stand as a guide, like for the hip line, the crotch line, so we don't have to repeat all the calculations we've done earlier. And for perfection, so it's always advised you use your tracing wheel. But if you don't have a tracing wheel, you can just use your sellotape like the way I'm doing to place the front pattern on the back pattern while you do those modifications. So I am going to return that 1 inch I deducted from the front pattern because of that smile line. The back does not have a smile line. So it's just like me now trying to have a new like the accurate line before we started doing some modification in the front. So I'm just trying to return everything back. So if you see, you can see through very well. I'm just trying to return those line back to themselves. So if you don't have a tracing wheel, you can still go about it too. All you just need to do is that make sure that the front pattern, you pin it. If you are using drafting directly on your fabric, you pin it on the new fabric. Make sure there's enough space on the upper part. Then you use your chalk to mark those line back. This dart line I marked on this back pattern is not actually needed. Reason being that there are some modification and the front dart line, the back dart line there will be some shifts. But because I don't have plans to add that, so I didn't add that line to this one. I hope you understand. I'm just trying to make you like explain everything. The dart line is not going to be needed. So I don't know why I ruled the line, but I just know that it is not going to be needed. So this is just me retracing out the necessary lines that of the front pattern that I use the tracing way to trace out. So now I'm labeling that CR is the crouch, the hip, and the waist. So I chose to abbreviate it. So as you can see, from that new waistline, which is our starting line, when we're drafting, we had the starting line. I'll come in by 1.5 inch. Then on this crouch line, the crouch length, I'll come in by 1 inch. On the waistline is 1.5 inches. On the crouch length, it is 1 inch. I came in by 1 inch. Then from the new waistline, I will go up by 2 inches. So for small sizes or people with smaller bum, it is 2 inches. But people with bigger bum, it is 2.5 inches or 3 inches. So that will give more ease to the bum area, especially when someone is trying to bend. You see some trouser when they are bending, all their back cleavage is showing, which is not meant to be so. So when you raise the trouser up, it will give ease to the trouser. You bend with ease and you don't have issue with the trouser not fitting perfectly on the bum area. So after that, I divided the crouch with, as in for the back, the crouch curve. I divided the hip by 10 inches. It gave me 3.4 and I ruled it out. Then from that edge, from the tip of the crouch, I so before I can get the curve, I came out by 1 inches. Then using my hip curve, I ruled with a curve line. That's what you are seeing here. Now also, if you remember that we've reduced 1.5 each from the front line, so now we have to recalculate our hip measurement. So from the hip area, the hip measurement divided by 4, I will input it again. Now we are going to that's why I said that line has to be corrected. So on the crouch line, the hip divided by 4, and on the waistline, the hip divided by 4. Then using my curve ruler, I'll join it together. So that is actually the reason why I said I don't know the reason why I mark that line. Because actually, assuming I'm going to mark a new dot line, it is after I have gotten this new hip measurement before I can mark a dot line. So using the hip curve, I will connect together. I'll use the curve ruler to connect those lines together. Then on the waistline, if you remember in the front, we came out by half inch. So it can be equal. I'll also come out up by half inch. Then I'll connect it to that center, the center waist. So as shown in the video. At this point now, if you actually want to input a dart line from this new waistline, you pick your dart line. From that slant, the way it is looking slant is the way you draw your dart line. On the knee length, I'm going to come out by 1 inch. Then using the hip curve, I'll connect it to the new crouch line. On this side too, I'm going to come out by 1 inch. All this is just for ease. So like on the back area, so using my straight ruler, I'll rule a line. So our back pattern is very ready. If you place the front pattern on the back pattern, you will see that there are some modifications that has been done, like some modification. So you can see that the way I extended the hip now makes the hip, this back hip and the front hip to fit perfectly well. Then if you see the smile line and the back pattern, they were different. All these have their own different fitting because our body is not straight and you have to get the right fitting for every side, every part of the body. So now we are going to cut. Please, as I've always said, learn to study your lines so you can know the lines you are going to cut through. Don't just cut. Study the lines before you cut through so as not to make mistake. So this is our front pattern and the back pattern. Now let us draft the pockets. As for the pocket, I'm going to get a piece of paper. For the length of the pocket, I'll mark 11 inch. The reason why it is 11 inches, 6 inches is for the place you are going to attach to the trouser, where your hand is going to pass through. While 5 inches is for the pocket bag, where your hand is going to enter, or whatever you are dropping into the pocket. So for the width, I am going to mark 6 inches. Then I'll connect, giving us a rectangular shape. So as not to get it a very sharp pocket, I'm going to use the hip curve to get a curve. Just join it. Whatever your curve gives, just join it together. Then you cut through. By the time you are transferring this to paper, the part that is straight is going to be on fold, while that curvy part is the part that you are going to cut through. Then remember to add your ½ inch sewing allowance. Also, if you are drafting on a pattern, you can choose not to add allowance while drafting. Then after you have drafting finish, as in for the trouser pattern, you add allowance round. But if you are not drafting on a pattern, if you are drafting directly on your fabric, I would advise that when you are creating your workspace, create enough space for allowance. So after you've drafted the actual fabric, you draft the allowance. if this is understandable. So after you add allowance to every part of the pattern. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.